Hello, this presentation is on interpersonal conflict. The goal of this presentation is to learn how to make conflict productive in the workplace. Some of the key points we will go over is the importance of conflict, productive conflict versus unhealthy conflict, resolving conflict among coworkers, and resolving conflict between power disparties. For this presentation, we'll use this as a scenario. Management keeps sending out fan experience schedule requests with too little time to prepare for the events. This has caused some employees to feel that they don't have time to properly prepare to present a quality service to the customers. I'll have Casey continue the conversation.
Hi, so I'd like to talk a little bit about the importance of conflict. And so the first question that I think would arise when talking about conflict would be, obviously, is conflict important? Yes, absolutely. First of all, conflict cannot be avoided. In every workplace or environment that you work with others, there will be conflict from time to time. Conflict, when handled appropriately, though, allows for a person or persons to be challenged and to grow. So it can actually help the situation, even though it can be a stressful situation to start with. Conflict often leads to more discussion and can lead to finding a middle ground. When we have conflict, and if we use it wisely and use it professionally, we can actually gain from the situation. Conflict can lead to innovation, which I'll share a couple of examples to that here in just a moment. And conflict needs to lead to a professional dialogue. We want to make sure that within our company that we respect each other and keep it professional at all times. Mike Myatt, leadership advisor, said, where there is disagreement, there is an inherent potential for growth and development. I think that's very true. We're all familiar with Disney and the gigantic company that they are. Walt and Roy Disney, however, understood how to use conflict to their advantage. While the brothers' personalities were at odds, they're frequent, passionate, but for the most part cooperative conflicts led to their founding and developing of one of the largest entertainment companies on earth. So we can see examples in history of when conflict is used in a professional way, that it can lead to great things. We'll go ahead and turn it over to Bryn.
So as we've seen, conflict is inevitable, especially in the workplace, and it actually plays an important role, like Casey was saying. The key is just knowing how to have productive conflict. So this involves having mutual respect and trust between the two parties, and the only way to do this is to know that the goal isn't to win or to beat the other person. It's to be able to understand them and their ideas and opinions. This allows people to debate their ideas and learn more about how to problem solve and communicate. Productive conflicts are all about finding a resolution, so it's about making sure that both parties are happy. And unhealthy conflicts, on the other hand, lack that trust and respect. It usually involves someone trying to assert power or putting blame on the other person and putting each other down. This is usually caused by a clash in personalities or just poor communication. Because of these things, a resolution is not made, and it can actually cause even more problems and negative tension within the workplace. So ideally, productive conflicts would be solved just by the two parties, but if it gets to an unhealthy point, that shouldn't be ignored, and managers or HR should step in to make sure that both parties come to a mutual agreement in a positive way. And next we'll be talking about resolving conflict among coworkers.
I'll take on that one. So resolving conflict among coworkers, first thing you want to do, just like how we talked about a minute ago, is embrace any benefits, right? So with constructive or positive conflict, we can guide our people through having some benefits from conflict. When we can bring to light any misunderstandings or lack of clarity in any procedures that we have in our company, we can help improve operations going forward by doing such, and we can lead our team members to resolve issues peacefully among themselves afterwards. Well, the next thing here is we want to make sure that we can confront it face to face. If you're in charge of a team, you don't want to use email. You want to talk with them face to face. Be with them in person. Invite all relevant people and give them all the time to prepare and talk about everything. Listen and don't follow tangents or hurtful comments. Don't allow that to happen at all. Remain impartial. Again, you're supposed to not be judging here. Understand. And try to seek some common ground. The next thing here is going to be investigate any areas of concern. So we don't want to be making any assumptions, but we always want to investigate things, right? So just because you heard of a concern, you always want to make sure to investigate it. But again, the actions you take are going to be dependent upon the severity of the conflict. Next thing here is we want to provide resources. So have a defined procedure. So if there does come a conflict, because there always will be one, make sure that you have a procedure set up, whether that be involving HR or legal or just talking to your boss. Make sure that they understand that. But also suggest that many employees actually use this. Because again, if you're not told about it, you're probably not going to use it. Another one here is increase visibility. So you should always be, you should not be discovering conflict secondhand. You shouldn't be having people just telling you, hey, this is a conflict going on. You should be visible and so that people understand that you're there and you're hearing about it firsthand as well. Have regular meetings with other people, as well as become a normal part of your team's day. Everyone likes it when the boss is part of your day. Also, last thing here is remind employees of their expectations. Conflict can cause negative environment. These can be things like safety, security, gossip. We don't want to be having that cause a real negative work environment. So we can have make sure to have staff meetings to remind people of expectations that we believe and possible scheduling and retraining. Next one, I'll pass it on to Derek.
So I'm going to be talking about resolving conflict between power disparities, and that falls under the direction or jurisdiction of HR. And HR's main job is to interpret the procedures and policies and the local and federal labor laws to make sure that everything is running smoothly and running correctly. HR is the in-house investigation team of a company or an organization, and their job is to investigate any concerns, complaints, or harassments that have been filed or claimed. Good HR departments are willing to come to the table to work with both the company as well as an employee to work out any problems or issues that might arise, because if they aren't taken care of properly, they can both lead to negative consequences for both parties. For example, if there's a toxic work environment, the employees are going to want to quit, and they're going to go tell their friends, families, and associates that this company is a bad company to work for because X, Y, and Z. And in the long-term run, that's going to affect the company with bad publicity and long-term recruitment. A good HR department is going to be willing to compromise, whether that is company through employees or employee versus employee. If you can find a problem, if there's a problem that arises and they're willing to compromise and work to an agreement where there might be something that is not working, or they find an issue that is not completely working with the company or the procedure or policy, then they can make changes so that both parties are happy. If HR cannot work with in-house for a problem, they will long-term reach out to settlement, third-party settlement court, the authorities if it comes to a crime of anything, and the law team, their own law team. And I will now turn the time back over to Mara for the conclusion.
Okay, so in conclusion, some of the things we talked about that were important was the importance of conflict, and we covered conflict allows employees to grow and be challenged. Conflict can also lead to innovation if used properly. Another thing we discussed was productive conflict versus unhealthy conflict. Productive conflict helps to create communication and problem solving. Unhealthy conflict produces an environment of distrust and disrespect. As well as that, we also discussed resolving conflict among coworkers. It is important to resolve conflict face-to-face, involve a mediator if needed, such as HR or any legal resources, and also having regular meetings to discuss the conflict that is at hand. And last of all, we discussed resolving conflict between party power disparities. Create a workplace with guidelines so people can be aware of what to do if something goes awry. Along with that, we also talked about get HR involved if needed, and have clear expectation in the workplace.